Hello everyone, my name is Anitsu and I'm back with another Digi Finance video. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the English market and kind of guesstimate and see how the English market is going to react based on the pull ratios that we know and the prices from Japan, because there's definitely a lot of parallels that we could pull in terms of how we could calculate the estimated value of the singles in the booster box. So in terms of the set, we know that each box is going to contain 24 packs, and each pack has 12 cards. The pack breakdown is kind of something like this, where you're going to get 7 commons, 3 uncommons, 1 rare, and then 1 rare and above. And then a box is going to hold 7 SRs per box, and then 2 hits. So what a hit is basically it's going to be either a secret rare or an alt art card. And then in a case scenario, it's looking like a case is going to yield 12 secret rares, a full playset of all of the SRs. Sometimes they might not all be of the same art, so you might open up 3 of one SR and then 1 parallel, just as an example. And then you're going to get a lot of rares and then way too many commons and uncommons. So the way it looks like for sealed product is kind of just double of what Japan's getting, which is pretty good because, again, we could use Japanese prices to kind of infer on how the English prices are going to be at. And when it comes to my little spreadsheet here, I have a lot of things kind of just color-coded. So red's going to be BT01, blue's going to be BT02, and yellow is going to be BT03, and the sets are right over on the side here. And then anything that's highlighted in green is going to be a parallel rare. So in terms of what the singles are doing, they are going to obviously, again, be based off of the Japanese prices and then adjusted to what I think that they are going to be doing based on what I know about the American market. Starting with the dash packs, I think that the promo Agumon and promo Gabumon are definitely going to be holding some relatively decent value, just because, again, they're both parallel arts, so they have some really nice looking art. And then on top of which, they're both very, very playable cards for their respective color. And if you're going to be playing those colors, then there's a very high chance that you're going to be playing that card. And anyone who wants to bling out their deck in max rarity will definitely want a playset of these, and they are definitely going to be holding a relatively decent price tag just because of that. Now, in terms of the rest of the dash pack, we have Machinedramon, we have Metal Seedramon, and we have Puppetmon. So Machinedramon is definitely going to be holding some relatively decent value, but that's mostly because he is a parallel SR, whereas the other two are parallel rares. But because they're all parallel, they're still going to be holding more value than their in-pack counterparts. But with the 3, I think Puppetmon is going to be a really interesting one to look at, just because I think out of the 3, Puppetmon is going to be the more played one out of the 3 for a lot of different decks. And then in terms of box toppers, I think the box toppers are going to have this base price starting out for all of the cards, just because they're all tamers and they're all doing relatively similar things for each of the different colors. But when the game launches in January, I think the prices will level out to reflect which ones are going to be more popular and which ones are going to be more played. But in terms of the cards in the set, I think that the SR Ultimate cards are not going to be holding a lot of value over the long run, just because these are more short-term things, where it's just like, because of the lack of options, these cards aren't necessarily going to hold very well, just because they're going to be better things to play. But for now, since there's, again, a lack of options, these are the only ones that we have, so they're going to still see some play. But when it comes to a lot of the SR Megas, then the SR Megas are going to hold a little bit better, just because they are more of a focal point or boss monster for the deck. So obviously the better SR Megas are going to hold more value over the long run, just because they're going to be, like, obviously the better ones. But some of them are definitely going to be really, really interesting to look out for, just because some of them have a little bit of this unknown to them, where they're supposedly really good, but they might be better later on. So those are the ones that are kind of the ones to watch. even those are going to start off performing the same and then level out based on its playability and its popularity. Then in terms of the level 7s, the level 7s are definitely going to be really, really big hits just because, well, they're level 7s, they're some of the most powerful cards in the game, and as such, they're definitely going to hold some decent value to them, with the big winner obviously being Omnimon. Not getting too deep into Omnimon, but Omnimon in Japan has been performing very, very well. We all know that Omnimon is a very, very good card, and as such, he's going to be the most expensive card in the whole set and the biggest chase card. And these prices might not even necessarily go up or down based on how many people are going to be picking the card up, how many people are going to be offing him, and so on and so forth. But Omnimon is definitely going to be the most expensive card in the set and the biggest chase card to aim for. But in terms of how the rest of the set is kind of going to perform, a lot of the money is going to be in the parallel rares. So obviously some of these secret rare cards are going to be holding some decent value, but like the parallel rares, that's where the money is at. Just because a lot of people do like blinging out their decks, and you only get 2 hits per box, which means the likelihood of seeing a lot of these is going to be a lot lower than some of the other cards in the set, even their normal counterparts. So I definitely think that the parallel rares are definitely going to be holding some relatively decent value, especially the ones that are played more than some of the other ones. Then just some other things to note. I don't necessarily think that the rares are going to be holding any particular value, even though some of them might be really, really played, like Upamon and Puppetmon. They're definitely some cards to look out for, but I don't think particularly they're going to be worth a whole lot, especially in the long run, just because of how prevalent rares are going to be in the set. And then the other big thing that I'm kind of not really exactly calculating, because this is a little bit harder to calculate, is the longevity of certain cards, because certain cards might be performing better later on based on what we know about what we're getting in 1.5 and what we can see from the spoilers of set 4, and potentially when we see spoilers of set 5, we could get a better idea of what are going to be the cards that are going to be lasting the longest. And as such, those cards are going to have their prices change more over time than some of the others. But again, these are just all of my speculation on how the prices are going to be starting off at. I am definitely not a financial expert, so just take everything I've been saying with a grain of salt. And again, I just have been using the Japanese prices because our ratios are very similar, and then adjusting them based on the meta that we kind of can foresee and how we react differently to certain cards versus Japan does. I'll have a link to the document in the description below. So that's kind of all I have for this video. Feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts down below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.